Aboard this episode of MythBusters.
It's time for some pillaging. It's time for some robbing.
Booty goes inside it.
It's time to blow some stuff up. It's time for the MythBusters Pirate Special.
That's right, me beauties. Sea Dogs Adam and Jamie have plundered the 7 seas for pirate parable and maritime myth.
I'm so pumped.
First, do more seamen die from the wooden shrapnel than the actual cannonball?
Definitely made a lot of shrapnel.
Then Carrie, Grant, and Tori have their eye on the story that pirate patches were a night vision aid.
That was quite funny.
Next, Adam gets dirty and Jamie cleans up. Will rum remove everyday pirate stains?
The plight of the pirate laundryman.
Okay, I'm ready for battle.
And finally, is it Hollywood hocus pocus, or can you slow a high fall with a knife sale?
Avasti! Arr, you scurvy dog!
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
Danger is my middle name.
and Jamie Heineman. Between them, over 30 years special effects experience. Joining them, Tori Belleci,
I'll miss you, buddy.
Carrie Byron,
Don't try what you're about to see at home.
and Grant Imahara.
I'm pumping as fast as I can!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Something tells me I know the answer to this one. What's the myth?
Right. The myth is that in a firefight with some pirates, in a fusillade of cannonballs, that you would be more in danger of the shrapnel than the cannonballs themselves. He's speechless.
Army hearties, this myth comes straight from the glory days of pirate privateers.
Morgan!
Skilled blackguard captains would run down their heavy, treasure-laden prey, then deliver a mighty broadside.
On the approach! Fire!
But is it true the deadly splinters created on impact caused more deaths than the cannonball itself?
We'll close for the killing and border, and I'll dangle Uncle Harry from the far yard. So what's the plan?
Well, last time we tried to find a cannon, the best we could do was find one that just shot blanks. This time we need to fire one that fires a real cannonball, and they're not going to be that easy to find, I don't think.
Now let's put the researchers on it, and in the meantime, I've got some fabulous ideas for a small-scale, air-powered cannon. Turn your face around.
Now, if ye be unfamiliar with pirating ways, listen up and listen close. It's Pirate Speak lesson number 1. A pirate woman is more commonly referred to as a wench. Adam briefs myth wench Jess. If an air cannon is to be substituted for a real cannon, it still needs to fire a ball at much the same speed.
What I want to end up with is the slowest possible speed a cannonball could hit a boat, because I don't think we can match the highest
slowest?
possible speed with the air
All right.
cannon.
All right.
So while Jess hits the history books to find out about muzzle velocities, Jamie tells us more about the plan.
It's time to get started on the miniature air cannon. This will be a 20-foot long Schedule 40 pipe with another Schedule 40 pipe and a cap on it on the other end. And a valve will go between the two, and we're just going to pressure the thing with shop air, turn the valve on, out goes the ball into the wood.
That long pipe is no accident. It allows the air to be focused behind the projectile and get the most possible force on the ball.
This one is going to be firing a 2-inch ball bearing. Not exactly what you would have had in ye olde times. They happen to be the easiest thing for us to get a hold of because people generally don't fire these things these days.
While Hotshot Heineman puts together a target, old Redbeard Savage gets down to the finer plumbing.
I just don't want any leaks. I don't like leaks. Grab some air.
To maximize pressure, all leaks have to be accounted for. Adam displays the time-honored pipe-hugging method of checking for leaks. Of course, he could have just had a look. Myth wench Jess has crunched the numbers. For a blistering broadside, a typical pirate cannonball travels at more than 900 feet per second. That's way out of their little cannon's league. But they think 600 feet per second will be sufficient to splinter the wood in a meaningful way. So, Adam, what are you looking for from this test?
There are 3 things we want to get out of this test. First and foremost is which of the woods is most shrapnel worthy. We're only going to use one of them for the large scale test, and this is the test where we'll determine which one. Second is there a death zone around the point of impact? Do splinters travel in a specific direction? And third, do they travel with enough speed to have a seemingly deadly amount of power? Do they penetrate?
Pirates weren't choosy about most things, including what their ships were made of, but 3 woods seemed to be the favorites.
We've got pine, we've got white oak, we've got red oak. Now, these aren't scaled to the ship, but that's because on the small scale test, we just want to look at relative splintering ability of each of these kinds of woods. Blimey!
It's simple. Fire the 2-inch ball bearing into the 3 different types of wood. Examine each splinter pattern and then select the best for the full-scale test. And of course, the winner will be the wood with the deadliest spray of shrapnel. First up on the cannonball collision course, pine planking.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pressurize it, all right?
Okay, is everybody clear from the back of the shop?
We're up to pressure. Are we all set? Okay, test 1, pine, in 3, 2, 1. We're clear.
Oh, the anticipation. That is cool. It's a perfect hole.
A perfect hole, but did it splinter?
Oh, look at that! Dude! That is an excellent thing! That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful result.
Okay, well, let's reset.
With Adam and Jamie up and running, let's take time out to tackle a tale of tricky pirates and their eye patches.
All right, you guys know the whole stereotypical pirate with the eye patch. Yeah, you do. Well, apparently it wasn't to cover up an eye that had been gouged out during battle.
Well, the myth surrounding this one is actually really cool. I mean, the idea is that both of their eyes are perfectly fine, but kept one eye covered with an eye patch to keep that eye constantly night vision ready.
So if you had to dip down below decks during the day, or fight a battle at night after having been inside reading maps. All right.
So we're gonna have to figure out a way to test this one.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Aye, aye.
For all their army hearties and avast ye scurvy dogs, this myth would suggest pirates were no fools when it came to eyeball anatomy. According to pirate folklore, by wearing a patch over a perfectly good eye, a pirate could exit the glare of a ship's deck, shuffle the patch over, and enter the dark below, or leave a well-lit room below decks to fight a nighttime battle up top.
Well, we've got the eye patches. That part's easy. I think now the best thing we can do is go talk to an ophthalmologist and see if the myth has any merit to it before we start.
Then we can figure out a way to test the night vision, maybe like a pirate-themed obstacle course.
Well, if we're building this obstacle course, we're not gonna be able to test it. So we'll save this one for Jamie and Adam, let them test it out.
We can make them wear pirate outfits. It'd be perfect.
While Tori and Grant begin building an obstacle course uniquely designed to test a pirate's night vision,
You guys should maybe just stand back in case this thing falls.
Carrie is off to see an eye doctor.
To test out our pirate eye patch myth, I've come to UCSF to their ophthalmology department so I can see the science behind your eyes adjusting to the light and the dark. Now, the whole idea of this is that the eye patch isn't because you have only one eye, but it's supposed to keep night vision in one eye so that, you know, intruders coming onto your ship, you can quickly change eyes and still have that night vision and maybe have an advantage over them.
So that sounds to me like a plausible myth, and the reason is that if you keep one eye covered with a dark patch, you can keep the nighttime vision cells from getting exposed to light, and you can keep their sensitivity in darkness.
And that works because the eye has two major sets of cells, cones and rods. The cone-shaped cells in the retina enable us to see fine detail and color in bright conditions. And the rod cells, which are super sensitive to low levels of light, help us see in the dark. But the catch is, after being in the light, it takes a while for the rod cells to get warmed up for night vision.
So I'm wearing my pirate eye patch. That means I've got the rods active on that side and then the cones active on the eye that can see?
That should work. That should be exactly what's happening.
Okay, but this is MythBusters, where we leave no theory untested. Basically, Carrie gets an eye patch and allows the covered eye plenty of time to adjust to the dark. Dr. Duncan then bleaches Carrie's other eye with bright light.
This feels sort of dizzying. I kind of feel like I'm in that movie Clockwork Orange.
She then tests to see how long it is before Carrie can see low levels of light again. For a comparison, the test is repeated with the already dark adjusted eye.
So here's how you did with the unpatched eye that had all the light. It took about 25 minutes for you to see the dimmest level of light you could see, or took about 25 minutes for your rods to recover from that bright light. Now, if we look at the eye that was patched the whole time,
Wow, what a difference.
Exactly. As soon as we turned off the light, you were immediately able to see as dim a level as you were able to see after about 25-30 minutes in the eye that had been exposed to the bright light. So the patch allowed you to have good sensitivity of your rods right away after the bright light. 25 minutes.
So it looks like Carrie has got the science behind the eye patch myth covered. And if she can find her way to the door, we can move things along.
I can't see anything still.
Adam and Jamie are testing the theory that in a pirate ship battle, it's not the direct hit from a cannonball to fear most, but the splintering wood caused by the shell piercing the ship.
Okay, so this is a small-scale cannon test, and since we can't fire black powder cannon inside of Jamie's shop, we build an extremely large air cannon. This is the reservoir. This is a nice big 2-inch valve, which we will activate with a switch from behind there, out of sight of this, so in case any bounce backs happen, they don't happen through our heads, through this 21-foot barrel, all the way down here, through the chronometer so we can tell exactly how fast that cannonball is going, past these lines, which will tell us on the high speed exactly how fast that cannonball is going, into this panel, which will then be blown into splinters, which will embed themselves into these foam panels. The cannonball will rest into this bulletproof vest, and we'll be able to see what happens.
Our first test with the pine was actually pretty spectacular. The shrapnel created is quite nasty. It looks like, you know, this whole area would be a bloody mess if you happen to be standing right next to it.
Wow. That is awesome.
Splinters aplenty, but has it achieved the 600 feet per second ball speed required to simulate a genuine cannon?
273 miles per hour. It's slower than I was hoping, but it's still pretty darn fast for a 20-foot barrel.
So the air cannon isn't quite up to speed, but at this stage, they're just comparing the relative splintering qualities of the wood. And seeing as they are already achieving an impressive spray of shrapnel, they're going to move on. Next on the Cannonball Run, White Oak.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. It looks like a bit of it's missing.
A large chunk of white oak went walkabout, but the frag pattern on the foam panels is conclusive.
That is brutal. That is the real deal. I mean, these things are almost obliterated.
Well, it definitely made a lot of shrapnel, even more than the pine.
Well, yeah, it made less pieces of shrapnel, but what it did was they were much bigger and looks like a lot more lethal.
Looks can kill, but can the splinters?
Based on what I'm seeing, the shrapnel coming out of the oak would be considerably more deadly than the pine. Not only are the pieces, like the splinters coming off of the oak, larger, but the wood itself is denser, and I can't help but think that it'd penetrate a human skin or flesh better.
I was pulling the tape off of this to reset it, and can you guess?
Some of it's stuck into the wood.
Uh-huh, right there.
Yeah, they're larger, heavier pieces, and so, you know, that starts to make me think that this would be possible. You know, it'd be possible for somebody to be killed with a splinter like that in the right place.
Yeah.
And remembering that we're only at around, what was it?
Yeah, we're at half the speed and half the size of a real cannon. That is awesome.
So of the two woods tested so far, white oak clearly has the deadliest potential. The final test is
Red oak. In 3, 2, 1.
I love this.
Thunk.
it's a bullseye every time, and the wood is flying.
Yeah, it's more really, really, really big splinters.
Well, is there anything sticking through the back of the wood?
No, although the foam is definitely much more decimated on this test than any of the others. It doesn't look like any of the shards penetrated as deeply as they did with the white oak.
So Adam, day one of playing pirates almost through. What say ye to the myth?
You know, I wasn't so sure about this myth when we started. I mean, like, what's more lethal than a cannon shot? But I'm looking at this, and I'm really thinking that there's some meat on the bones of this thing, that it really actually might be plausible, because these shards of white oak were stuck into the plywood and pine boards that were our backstops. That takes a lot of energy to jam wood into wood like that.
It's been a good day's science, and most self-respecting pirates would head home. But Adam has little self-respect.
Now let's fire into something really fun.
What do you have in mind?
Well, we got a we have a big cast ballistic material head of Grant.
Okay.
Pirate Speak lesson number 2. A young, likable pirate is affectionately called a scurvy dog. And Grant, the MythBusters version of a scurvy dog if ever there was one, has cast his own face in ballistics material.
There's no scientific purpose to this at all. This is totally just for fun. We rarely finish with a little time extra, so we might as well use the equipment we've set up. Grant's face, test number 1 and only. Firing in.
3, 2, 1.
It was a successful blast, but surprisingly, Grant looks uninjured.
Something happened. It didn't go through his face.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
What is the back of his head?
There's no exit. There's no exit wound. I think it. I think it hit him.
What's that? It went right through.
No, that's.
Yeah. That right there.
Wait, let me see. You think it went all the way through his face?
That's. Where else did it go? It hit the thing.
Oh my God. You're right. You're totally right. This thing went all the way through his head. Oh, that's one of the most wrong things we've ever done.
When it comes to pirate myths, the eyes have it. But are those eye patches really a clever method of moving from bright light into a dark ship? After a scientific fact-finding mission at the eye doctor, Carrie's confident this myth is looking good.
I'm starting to feel like we might have a confirmed myth here.
And back at the shop, the team gets set to test the practical applications.
Hoi, matey! I see land ahead.
So they're going to build a pirate ship jungle gym.
I'm gonna make a cannon.
Then ask eye patch-wearing Adam and Jamie to complete the course in the dark.
Do you wanna play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend. Fire in the hole!
There'll be obstacles to dodge, cannonballs to avoid.
Cannonball!
Just your average day out pillaging and plundering, really. And And what's a pirate story without a fair maiden in distress?
What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take all these pictures, we're gonna put them on the computer, and then we're going to print them out life size, and I'm going to make these pop-ups that Grant is going to pneumatically control, so that when they come by, poof! If it's a bad pirate, they stab. And if it's the girl they're trying to rescue,
They stab.
they don't stab me, I'm the good one.
So it's life-size pirate pop-ups on the poop deck. But any pirate worth his salt won't be satisfied with a good night's work until he's found the treasure chest. And what goes inside the chest, Carrie?
Booty goes inside it.
Carrie has secured her booty, the pneumatic pirates are ready to pop up, and the ship is in shape. So, how about a demo? But remember, Adam and Jamie will have to do it in the dark.
This looks really good. I'm really feeling good. Okay, so you've got buckets, various boxes on the ground. First pirate.
That is the evil Grant pirate.
This is Evil Grant, and they're gonna have to stab this one through the heart.
And hopefully not walk into that, walk under it.
Okay,
Then
decoy.
pops up the fair maiden that they do not stab.
No stabbing of the maiden. Oh, that's brutal. Okay, and then,
Oh my God, that's gonna be nuts.
okay, avoiding the cannon.
Not knocking over the cannonballs. Pop up evil Tory pirate.
Which they'll have to run through the heart.
And after all that, they get to raid the treasure chest and raise the Jolly Roger.
Hoist the flag.
And just when they think they're done,
They're caught.
All they need now are the victims. It's time to sit back with a bottle of grog for a laundry legend.
So guys, what's the myth?
The myth is that in ye olde times, pirates used rum not only for inspiration, but also as a stain remover.
Well, pirates don't strike me as the most fastidious lot, but I suppose if you had blood all over your shirt and then you had shore leave, you'd want to wash it off first.
I guess especially if you had a date.
Pirates had dates?
Pirates and rum go together like cannons and balls. But is it possible that they don't just drink grog, but use it to get those puffy pirate shirts whiter than white?
Well, obviously we're gonna need some authentic pirate shirt material and, we're gonna need to stain it with some period-accurate stains.
Blood, sweat, and tar.
Perfect.
We're also obviously gonna need some sort of ye olde rum.
Right, and I think we should have something to compare that to. So I think we should use some ye olde soap as well. I have a secret method that the pirates may have used as a laundry technique, and we should compare all three of those to some modern detergent. So I'll do the staining.
Well, I'll do the cleaning then.
And I guess that leaves me to judge.
Exactly.
So it's time for Adam to get down and dirty.
The plan for this test is to choose three most common stains that pirates would encounter. One would be, of course, blood. Another would be, of course, sweat. Pirates were not known for their bathing. And the third would be something you'd find on the ship, which would be pitch or tar. I'm going to make up some 1 foot square samples of this cloth. We're going to put those various stains on it and try and see whether or not rum will actually take those stains out.
Being a pirate's a bit difficult. What with the not bathing, the hot sun, the blood, the sweat. And this rough fabric is very harsh on my skin.
We don't have any pirate shirts from the period, but we do know that while a fancy gentleman of the age might have had a very fine weave shirt made of linen, pirates would have used coarser stuff called lock ram. The closest we could find is this bleached embroidery fabric, which has a thread count of 40. It's quite rough, but it's perfect for our tests. And I think it's the closest thing we could possibly find.
The first authentic pirate stain is blood, and Adam knows just where to find some.
We have it in the fridge because Jamie likes to have it every day for lunch. No. Has anyone taken my blood out of the fridge?
Next, Adam takes Jamie's lunch and smears the pig's blood over 4 sample sheets.
This is the plight of the pirate laundryman. Next up for our pirate shirts is pitch. Now, blood and sweat are easy choices when it comes to pirate stains, but we wanted to choose something like grime, and we know that pitch was used on pirate boats and period boats of the time. We've used it on plenty of other episodes, and it's very dirty stuff, so that's what we're gonna put on our pirate shirts next. Ta-da! We have one stain to go, and I'm gonna have to work for this one.
Yep, Adam has a plan to sweat for science.
I'm gonna do three things. I'm gonna get on Jamie's treadmill in my sweat lodge, formerly his mold room, and I'm gonna put on the sweatiest of the sweaty things we have, which is our fire suit. That thing is damn hot inside. I should have no problem producing lots of the correct bodily fluid for this test.
To harvest the bodily fluids, Adam arranges the shirt material for maximum moisture absorption.
It's go time.
Adam leaps onto the treadmill, ready to stain up. But after 15 seconds on his very own wheel of death, he's gasping like an asthmatic hamster.
That says I've only burned 20 calories. What is that about?
Why don't we fast forward to the end of the workout? After all, who wants to watch a grown man ooze sweat stains?
Now we've got three kinds of stains here. We got blood, pitch, and sweat. Or as pirates like to refer to it, Saturday night.
There we go.
But there's a problem. Adam's sweat doesn't stink or stain.
My sweat stain isn't working out. It's not very visual, and I guess it's all my clean living. I can't smell the thing at all. But I need a third stain to round out common pirate stains so I can try out these detergents, and I'm thinking oranges. They kept these on the ships to prevent scurvy and, I guess, for some kind of entertainment. So I'm just gonna blow these down and, scrunch them on some of this cloth, and we'll see if the detergents in our various tests will take this stain out.
So Adam makes like a messy pirate eater and swabs the samples with plenty of OJ.
Oh, it's good oranges.
Carrie, Grant, and Tori have set sail on the eye patch myth, and they're ready to press gang Adam and Jamie into service.
Oh, she's scared of me dogs.
After Adam and Jamie have dressed for the occasion, the scurvy dogs give out their instructions.
Okay, well, you got to wait out here 15 minutes. I know your eyes are relatively adjusted to the light. We just want to make sure that you're totally in daylight right now. So.
Preferably stare at the clouds or something white. I know it's tough, but it's the closest we can get to bleaching the rods.
So while Grant, Carrie, and Tori prepare the course, our newly minted pirates hang tough, letting their eyes adjust.
It's not easy being a pirate. Waiting all the time for the pillaging and the robbing.
How about killing some time with a prediction or two?
My sense about the eye patch is that, your eyes adjust pretty quickly. I think within a couple of minutes of being in there, there's not going to be a significant difference. That's my impression.
I predict that I'll be dancing on Jamie's intestines in minutes.
Before the intestine dancing begins, Piratess Carrie and her translator Grant the Parrot have the rules.
Now listen, ye scallywags, and listen well, for you will only hear this but one time. Send only the evil pirates down to Davy Jones' locker.
The evil pirates will have a target in the middle. You have to run it through with your cutlass.
Don't harm the maiden.
Don't harm the maiden.
Don't knock over the cannonballs.
Don't knock over the cannonballs.
Find the pirate chest, unlock it, and hoist the Jolly Roger.
There's going to be a treasure chest at the end on the ground with this lock. You unlock it with your key.
Which each of you will get right now.
Okay, inside of the chest is going to be this flag. Tie the flag on, hoist it up to the top.
Right, let's go.
The first seafarer aboard is Redbeard the Savage. He needs to instantly see in the dark with an eye that's been subjected to bright light, while his dark-adjusted eye remains patched.
Right, lads, let's go get him. Oh, I can't see a bloody thing.
All right, now we release the pit bulls. Look at him. He looks like a blind pirate.
By design, it's pitch black in there. The light you can see on camera is infrared. To Adam, it's as dark as the inside of a grog barrel.
He seems very disoriented at the moment.
Right from the get-go, it's pretty obvious that Redbeard is having trouble finding his sea legs. When you go from bright light into the dark, you're as blind as a bat.
Oh, he's about to hit his head.
Oh, he's climbing over the saxophone.
He's going the wrong way.
The hardest possible route to take. Okay, he's coming up to Carrie.
He just got hit with the bag.
Adam has missed the first evil pirate and kicked some cannonballs. But when confronted by evil Tori,
Sword is a key.
he can't decide who it is until he has a quick feel.
All right, he's not really.
I bet it's a pirate.
There he goes. There he goes.
Good one.
At least he killed one.
After a fun-filled 4 minutes, Adam's eye is starting to adjust to the dark. He now knows his port from starboard.
Okay, he's opened the chest.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice.
Gonna get the flag, turn around.
And the final task is noticeably easier.
Oh, wait, there we go. Hoisted the Jolly Roger tonight.
Well, the net missed, but that was quite funny.
Adam narrowly escapes capture and makes a quick exit overboard.
Nice work.
Nice. Well done.
You look great.
That was fantastic.
Really? You guys got to watch it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy.
I missed a pirate or two, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You missed the one pirate in the beginning.
I could not see it. I mean, literally, it's just black. I came across this thing that had a piece of paper in the middle, and I figured that was a pirate.
Yeah.
Subjectively, Adam was in the dark, but Carrie was in the crow's nest keeping time. So let's get the official results.
I'm very, very impressed. He made it through all of that darkness of the obstacle course in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. He only got 2 time penalties. 1, he didn't stick the first pirate, and 2, he knocked over one of the cannonballs. So in the end, 5 minutes, 40 seconds, Adam's first test.
Okay, it's time for Captain Heineman to board the ship, find the treasure chest, and hoist the Jolly Roger. And just like Redbeard, he's completely in the dark. He fails all the tasks except for taking out Tori.
Kill you?
You got it.
But after that, it's back to feeling his way around.
They really are super blind. They really can't see anything.
Oh, he's totally disoriented.
Maybe.
He's gonna steer the ship.
It's taken a while, but Jamie finally raises the pirate standard.
Caught with the net.
The big question now is, what difference will it make when our myth-busting pirates switch eyes? Adam has been shedding blood, juggling oranges, and painting with pitch in an attempt to solve the myth that pirates used rum as a stain remover.
The plight of the pirate laundryman.
But before the cleanup with grog, Adam is looking into his alternative maritime method of doing the laundry.
I remember hearing years ago that on ye olde ships, they would save the pirates' urine, or the shipmates' urine, in a barrel. And when urine stays around and is exposed to the air, it evaporates into ammonia, and that ammonia is then used for washing everyone's laundry.
It sounds improbable, but after a quick research break, Adam confirms the story and the details.
History of washing website. I love the web.
The key factoid here is that over time, the urea in urine will break down to ammonia. And ammonia is a common alkaline used in household cleaning products. So Adam is ready to cook up an authentic recipe for washing with we.
What I am trying to do here
is reduce some urine or wee-wee to a more raw essence of wee-wee. The recipe for using urine as a cleaning agent, like the pirates might have, calls for stale urine. I do not have a stale urine, but I have a hot plate. So, I heat it for a while, boil the water out. I get more stale urine, or wee-wee. I can state from experience that this job does not make you the most popular guy on the boat.
Just be thankful that from the safety of your homes, you can't smell Adam's eau de toilette.
Notice that it is a much darker color, and this time I have only 300 milliliters. I have reduced it by half, removing mostly water, leaving the essential chemicals for washing.
And for the washing, it's time to tag team Jamie.
I've got 3 ye olde cleaners and 1 modern cleaner to try out on each of these sets of samples. I've got ye olde soap, made in the way ye olde soap was made. I've got ye olde rum, which is the crux of our myth, that they used rum as a cleaning agent. I have some stale wee, which is broken down mostly to ammonia, which was also used as a bleaching agent on pirate ships, and I have modern detergent. Your task is to try each one of these out on all 3 of these samples.
I'm glad we're near the ventilation booth.
To fortify himself for the job, Captain Heineman has a swig of grog and puts on the rubber gloves.
Okay, first off is the pee.
He then goes to work on the bloodstain.
Bloodstain's pretty tough for any kind of detergent, even modern ones, and especially once it's set. If you had done this when the blood was fresh, it might be a lot different. So far, it is acting clearly as a solvent for the stain because it's spreading it out, but it's not removing it.
Next, Jamie uses the urine to tackle the tar and citrus stains. He then repeats the process with the authentic 17th century soap. Modern detergent containing the powerful stain remover, hydrogen peroxide. And last but not least, the rum. But straight away, Jamie spotted a fundamental flaw in the myth.
I would think that any self-respecting pirate would rather drink it than use it to clean a stain out.
So that's all 3 stains scrubbed with all 4 cleaning products. And it's soon apparent that the only thing coming out in the wash is a negative conclusion to this myth. It seems the solvent and stain-removing properties of the alcoholic rum are limited.
Dispatches the rum and the various stains in. I can tell right off, just immediately, that the rum did the least good job of all of these different products. It did less than the soap, it did less than the detergent, it did less than the urine.
You heard that right. Incredibly, Adam's urine recipe is looking good. And Jamie's work here is done. So it's over to Carrie for the judging.
If you're ready, Carrie, we have washed each of these 4 piles, 1 in rum, 1 in ye olde soap, 1 in stale urine, and 1 in modern detergent. And you're to look at all 4 of these and tell me which one you think got the cleanest, which one's the second cleanest, etc.
Okay, light red. That one's pretty good. Little yellowish. That looks bad. Okay.
Nobody got the tar out.
That's, this is redder. Tar's a little better. Okay, the tar is bad on that one, but blood's really good on that one. And, okay, whatever this one is the worst. Okay, I would say that this one's the best for blood. That one's the best for tar.
All right, so the worst one was ye olde rum.
Ah, busted!
Your best one for blood was stale urine. And the best one for the tar was detergent, the modern detergent.
Yeah, those are the 2 best. The soap didn't really work well at all.
Well, I think that pretty much definitively busts this. Rum as a cleaning agent, totally busted.
Yeah, it's busted.
I agree, busted.
Adam Adam and Jamie have completed the pirate jungle gym with their unpatched eye. With hilarious flailing in the dark results. Now to the heart of the myth. Will the canny use of an eye patch and an already dark adjusted eye give our amateur pirates an advantage? They're about to find out.
Jamie and Adam have been sitting outside. They have the patches on, so their eyes are adjusted to the dark. They're gonna come in, switch the patch to the other eye, and then go through the course.
To prevent Adam and Jamie clocking a faster time because of familiarity with the course, the obstacles have been switched about. Adam's excited.
I'm so pumped! I can't wait to switch this eye patch! Yeah!
The myth suggests Adam should do this test a lot quicker than his 5 minutes of fumbling and stumbling with his light-exposed eye. He swaps the patch. Now, the eye adjusted to dark is uncovered, and in he goes.
It's like night and day.
And it's immediately obvious the switch has worked.
Wait, is that a pirate? Oh. Wait, is that a pirate? Oh, it's a lass.
Before the team in the crow's nest can say, "Walk the plank, you landlubber," Redbeard is almost done.
Looking at 1 minute, 12 seconds.
Oh,
I know, he's already killed his time.
There's my Jolly Roger. There's my flag. Oh my God. I can't believe the difference. And there we go. Oh, the net fell on me. Oh. That was like night and day.
That's nice.
That was incredible.
The difference, is it unbelievable?
The difference is amazing. I really didn't I can't see. I really didn't expect the difference to be as great as it was. But, I mean, whereas before, it was just like reaching out in blackness the first time. The second time was like, oh, there's a pirate, there's a pirate, there's a rope. Boop, boop, boop.
And the reason Adam found it so easy? He'd been wearing the patch for over a half an hour, and the rod cells in the covered eye were warmed up and ready for nocturnal action. And the numbers back that up.
He did the course in 1 minute 55 seconds, which is actually 3 minutes and 45 seconds faster than his first test without the night vision. So significant amount of savings in time, and what's more, 100% accuracy.
While Redbeard rests up after a hard night's pillaging, Captain Heineman launches into the fray, swapping his eye patch so he can use his dark adjusted eye.
How's that? Oh, this is like totally different.
No flailing in the dark this time. He's more than twice as fast and twice as accurate.
Yay!
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That was, I never would have believed that. You know, it would have taken me, I guess, a half an hour or something like that, just sitting there in the dark to get what I just did with switching the patch.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
It's just what we wanted to hear.
The myth clearly has bright prospects, but they're going to run it one more time with their light-adjusted eye. And Carrie has a trick up her sleeve.
We've left the course exactly the same as when they went through it with the adjusted night vision eye. This way, we can totally empirically prove that if they can get through this course and it takes them twice the time or any more time than it took them with their adjusted eye, we've definitely proved this myth.
Go get him, killer.
Ready?
Ready?
Let's pillage!
I don't know if that's legal in California.
Once again, it's obvious that the dark adjustment is a massive advantage as Adam struggles to plot a course.
This was truly an excellent control. I mean, it's difficult to tease the science out of this myth because it's such a subjective thing. However, I have to say there's nothing subjective about the fact that it was much easier with the eye that had been covered than with the eye that was exposed to daylight. And that third test proved it hands down. So that's awesome. We have nailed this one.
Well, I think Jamie and Adam are pretty convinced at the results of the eye patch myth.
Yeah, we ran them once with their eyes adjusted to daylight. They stumbled around the course like idiots.
And when they had their eyes adjusted for the dark by using the patch, they were able to breeze through that course.
And as one last final control, we sent them through that obstacle course one last time with their daylight vision. taking out the variable of them knowing the course, and they still messed it up just as bad as the first time they went through.
Well, I have to say, this myth is plausible.
I've seen possible too.
Plausible?
You're right.
Plausible.
All right, so this pirate myth comes mostly from Hollywood. And this is where the pirate is in the crow's nest. He needs to get down to the deck of the ship. To get down quickly, he stabs his knife into the sail and rides it down safely.
Douglas Fairbanks, that's senior, not junior, demonstrates the perfect swashbuckling technique. Knife in, and down ye go in a controlled slide, landing smoothly on the deck, ready to fight another battle.
All right, knife sail, let's define the myth.
Okay. I think you should ride the sail all the way down to the bottom without falling out.
And once you reach the deck, you should have so little injury that you can jump up and continue fighting.
All right, so I guess the next step is we go talk to some experts, find out what kind of knives and what kind of sails that these pirates would have been using.
I think that's a perfect place to start.
Great.
Nope. Mutant.
That's the plan, but this myth is in need of nautical knowledge. And for that, our landlubbers board the remodeled 1880s clipper, the Balclutha.
We don't really know anything about pirate sails, so we found a guy who does.
And Chris Giannini is the man at the pointy end of the questions.
So I hear that you are an expert on sails of different periods.
Not an expert. I have worked on some square rig ships over the years, and I've worked with two of the best sail makers in the country on brief periods of time. So more modern sails, but I'm pretty familiar with some techniques of building sails and working with them.
We classify expert as someone who knows more than us, which is pretty much there's experts all over the place.
Okay, Chris, so the myth that we're looking into right now is like in the pirate movies where the pirate takes his sword, stabs it into the sail, and then rides it all the way down. Have you ever seen that? You think it's possible?
I've heard of that, and hopefully the sailmaker is not at the bottom of that sail because he wouldn't make it past the deck.
Sailmaker be damned. There's a myth that needs exploring. It's time to get practical and see how easy it is to slice a sail with a knife.
Snap. Oh, there we go, okay.
Like a hot knife through butter. But there's a catch. There's always a catch.
You see, these reef bands,
Yeah.
there's going to be one or two or maybe up to four, depending on the sail you're trying to come down with your knife.
Horizontally? you
They're
mean?
coming down.
Across?
This is the top of the sail this way.
Okay. So you would hit this.
Then you're coming down, and then you have to go through the reef band.
Yeah, you're gonna get stuck on these.
You're going to get stuck on that, and there might be two, there might be four of those, and you're talking about the thickness of the canvas plus the folded over edge.
Right.
So that's, you're going to have twice the thickness, 3 times the thickness of that canvas. So now you're talking 3 pennies thick of canvas. It's about like thin plywood, like 1/8-inch plywood.
It might decelerate you, though.
It would slow you down.
But it might break your hand. I mean,
it-
if you're coming down that fast and you hit one of these seams, it's gonna pop the knife right out of your hand.
So sails be more than just a flap of canvas. Ye old reef bands make this myth more of a challenge.
I think we got lucky. We got a lot of information here.
Yeah, we got a lead on the type of sail to use, this type of material.
So I guess the next thing we need to do is get all the materials and take it back to the shop and test this.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Chris.
Welcome. My pleasure.
Salty Sea Dogs Adam and Jamie are looking into the myth that the splinters from a cannonball piercing the ship's hull would cause more deaths than the cannonball itself.
Avast!
What does avast mean?
Sounds like a cue for Pirates Speak Lesson number 3. Avast comes from the Dutch translation of hold fast, but it can also be used as a greeting, as in, Avast, ye old sea dog, where ye at with this myth? Tests with a small-scale cannonball on authentic pirate ship wood produced spectacular splintering, with white oak the deadliest of all. So it's on to stage 2, but with the researchers unable to track down a real cannon, the guys scale up their air cannon.
The cannon's based on the fact that gunpowder, when you add flame to it, expands at this phenomenal rate.
dozens of thousands of feet per second. It's what propels bullets forward, it's what propels cannonballs forward. We are trying to replicate the speed of the cannonball by using compressed air, which is the same principle. We're keeping air into a small volume, and they're going to release it with these two valves, and it's going to expand.
This is a plumber's paradise, but can a bigger air cannon actually produce the same explosive power as a real cannon?
It's going to expand slower than gunpowder. There's nothing we can do about that. But even though those speeds are lower, I still think we're looking at a valid test here, because we're looking at the impact of metal and wood, and we're looking at the relative difference between the lethality of that metal cannonball and the splinters of wood that come off the impact.
Bigger air cannon, bigger cannonball.
This is without a doubt the biggest air cannon I've ever built. It's nothing but raw, awesome power, safely implemented. I am satisfied and filthy. Two of my favorite states.
Adam's in heaven, but Jamie's getting all the mail.
I'm not sure yet, but judging by the weight, these are our cannonballs. Can we get Adam down here? I want to see him juggle these puppies.
Nice.
I have a question for you.
Yeah? I want to juggle these, of course. What are these? About 10 pounds?
They're 6 pounds a piece.
6 pounds. Oh. Now that's a workout. Oh my God, this is hard work.
18 pounds of workout. Just don't drop them. So let's recap the inventory for this myth. 6-pounders, check. The Maxi air cannon, double check. Authentic 16th century pirate ship? Captain, we have a problem. There's none here. Or here. Or even here. But Adam, being the resourceful chap that he is, has a plan to build his own.
So I've come to Svensson's Boat Works in the Alameda Marina because hopefully they have an expert who can tell me about what kind of dimensions they were, how thick the wood was, how they were constructed.
Adam knows pirate ships have horizontal outer planking, supported by vertical ribbing or stanchions, and thinner inner planking. For the correct dimensions of these intricate parts, he seeks the wise counsel of master shipwright John Phillips.
So I'd like to be as accurate as possible with my test, and I think I'd like to duplicate both the inner and the outer planking. And so I'd like to get an idea from you what thicknesses of the inner and outer I should be looking at, and also how far apart they are.
Certainly depending upon the origin of the vessel and the size of the vessel. This stanchion or frame would probably be at least as wide in this dimension as it is thick in this dimension.
And how
so
far
say
from
6 by 6.
Okay.
And those could easily be less than a foot apart.
Oh, okay.
And the planking could be 2, could be 3-inch thick, and maybe the inner planking would be 2-inch thick. So you've got 3, 6, and 2.
All right.
With the numbers hastily scribbled on the back of his hand, Adam heads back to the shop to get busy.
Oh, look, it's beautiful. That's a pirate ship right there.
Adam, haven't you forgotten something?
It doesn't look like much, but it will be a pirate ship soon. Stand by.
Don't you need another 100 or so tons more wood?
Well, these are the uprights. These represent the upright beams that describe the cross-section of the ship. I'm only going to do a small section of this pirate ship. That's all I've got time for. So this is going to be up around the railing of the deck, about 4 feet down. In fact, on a real ship of the period, these things would be placed about this far apart. I'm only going to place 2 of these this far apart because that's what we're shooting between. The other 2 I'll place a little farther apart because they're just to hold up the rest of the wood slats that make up my pirate ship.
And that gap in the center?
Right here in the center, that's where I'm going to be firing. That's where I'll have the real wood, and behind it I'll have the real pirates.
Can ye trusty dagger in a sail slow down a plummeting pirate? That's the question Carrie, Grant, and Tori are attempting to answer. So far, they've boarded the good ship Balclutha and plundered her for knowledge, and this myth won't be plain sailing.
So as it turns out, it's not so easy to do this. There are variations in the thickness of the sail, sharpness of the blade, and the angle at which you hold the blade can make a huge difference.
All right, so maybe before we go risking our lives and trying to ride down a sail with a knife, we should do some more tests so we can get some better data.
So let's set up a test where we can use a period knife and cut through a period sail, but maybe make the knife static and run the cloth past it. That way we can take out the human element.
We can test the different sharpnesses of blades and find out what the optimum sharpness is so that you get down the sail safely.
So it's sail slicing 101, and Tori is the man with a plan.
All right, so what we're trying to replicate is a person stabbing a sail, riding down it with a knife. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna be pulling the sail up. And so in order to do that, we need at least the average man's weight to pull that sail up.
Okay, dude, 200 pounds of pure pirate action. Okay. Got it? Hey, careful, you're gonna blow out your O-ring.
That's heavy.
It's a simple build. The knife will be locked off and a run of thick canvas pulled past it using a dead weight drum. A good knife should have little trouble, but which knife would a pirate use? There's an old pirate saying, keep your blade sharp, you're packing plentiful.
I hate this stuff. Why do people pack with this stuff?
So these are cutlasses?
I believe they are.
Are they covered?
I don't know.
Oh. Whoa.
Avasti! Arr, you scurvy dog!
Sheath those cutlasses, boys. There's more knives in play for this myth, but ye can only choose one.
Whoa.
Nice!
That's cool.
Sweet.
3 knives have been delivered to test the thrust and parry of this sail sliding myth. A cutlass, too long. A Gurkha dagger, not too many pirates in landlocked Nepal. So it's this stabbing knife, known as the mangosh. It's not only an authentic period piece, it's the same type used by our swashbuckling Hollywood hero.
All right, so, with this whole myth, it's really important to see how much speed the knife is gonna slow you down. If you're going too fast and you hit the deck of the ship, you're gonna break your ankles. That's not good. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna see how fast the knife is actually slowing the sail down.
Remember, the pirate has to land safely on the deck after his knife-assisted fall. And these 2 tests with a dull and sharp knife should indicate the relative speeds of each drop.
Test 1, mangosh knife, 90-degree angle, unsharpened. You ready? Beautiful.
Wow.
Actually, as the replays show, things didn't go quite to plan.
Well, from our first test, we got a few kinks that we have to work out. Our knife turned and the sail billowed out. So to remedy both of those problems, we have angled the knife downward a little bit, and we've also added something to hold the sail from flopping out as it raises up into the air.
A little sail trimming, and the dull blade is once again locked and loaded.
Okay, new and improved test 1, dull blade, cotton swatch, and it is the mangosh blade speed test.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Cool, we got a good test.
Nice.
The blunt knife at the altered angle sliced just fine. Now for a comparison with the sharper blade. A quick once-over on the grinder, and we'll see if fastidious pirates have a better chance of pulling off this myth.
Test 2, sharp blade, mangosh.
In 3, 2, 1.
That's a lot faster.
Beauty.
Our last test comparing the sharp mangosh knife to the dull one, definitely the sharp one is a lot faster. So I wouldn't want to be relying on that to get me down a sail safely, because you just shoot all the way down and probably end up pretty hurt at the bottom.
So the sharper the knife, the faster the fall. And the faster the fall, the heavier the landing. Now it's time to find out if our fall guy could hang on to the knife.
Dude, that's a hot combo. The well-dressed pirate is definitely gonna be wearing that this fall.
Okay, I'm ready for battle.
That doesn't look dorky at all.
Dorky. Now there's a pirate name. The locked-off dull and sharp blades both cut through the cloth easily. But could a person, even a dorky one, hold the blade?
Tori's sharp blade man gauche test.
In 3, 2, 1.
I don't know why you guys are so worried.
That didn't look hard.
It didn't look hard at all, because it wasn't.
Looks like there's some hope for this myth. This might be a good way to get down from your sail.
Okay, so now we know with a 200-pound counterweight, a period knife will cut through number 4 sail fabric.
And dull knife goes slower, sharp knife goes faster.
And we also know that a human can hold onto a knife and cut through a sail.
Okay, so I think next we need to ramp it up and see if a 200-pound weight attached to a falling knife will actually cut the sail.
I think Buster's just about that weight, and probably the man for the job.
Buster is about to enter the pirate business.
That's beautiful.
The following is a paid commercial program brought to you by the Piratical Industry Laboratories.
Pirates! If you're like me, you love the life. The pillaging, the freedom, but you hate the cannons. The cannons, the loading, the charging, the dropping of the balls on your foot. Well, we've developed an entirely new product, the Blowhard 3000. Firing a 6-pound ball at 300 miles per hour on compressed air alone. It's guaranteed to solve all your piratical needs. Our exclusively developed manifold at the Piratical Industries Labs allows you to use only compressed air generated by rowing slaves to propel your cannonballs at your enemy. No more black powder, no more smoke making your voice sound like this.
Slaves not included.
The Blowhard 3000, the next evolution in pirate technology.
We will now resume normal programming. Buccaneer Busters Adam and Jamie have built an air cannon to test the myth that splinters kill more people than cannonballs in your average pirate broadside.
This is what every modern pirate's using.
An authentic cannon muzzle velocity is 900 feet per second. In the absence of an authentic cannon, the Blowhard 3000 needs to get as close to that as possible.
What we're doing is a final pressure test. We're topping up these tanks with a very high pressure gas that gets us up into the zone we need.
When they put me in a home where I can't hurt myself, this is what undoubtedly they'll make me wear.
The team looks confident, but no one knows if the Blowhard 3000 will blow hard enough. This test without a cannonball will confirm the high pressure system is working.
Does that hurt? Okay, firing in 3, 2, 1.
That's a beautiful test. I feel really, really good about this deal.
Okay.
A perfect high-pressure test fire means it's time to take this myth out of the workshop and onto the firing range for some serious MythBuster-style fireworks.
Once again, we find ourselves on the Alameda Naval Base runway, which is a beautiful 1.5 mile long runway. Ours alone, nice and safe.
I'm sorry, Adam. Did you say nice and safe?
This is a 40-foot long barrel, and it's in several sections. We've got the fancy thing on the end here, and there's a lot of stuff to line up.
Like the earlier mini air cannon, a long barrel concentrates the energy to create the required cannonball velocity. If they can't get close to genuine cannon speed, this experiment is going nowhere.
That's what we're firing. 6.5 pound or 3 kilogram steel cannonball.
To achieve the velocity that we would get out of a real cannon, we'd have to reach in the neighborhood of 1,200 feet per second. Now, we know this rig is not going to do this. The theoretical max speed that we'll get out of this rig, if we were to just totally go for it, is about in the neighborhood of 700 feet per second. which is still pretty fast. In fact, it's a huge amount of force.
Huge if it works. And this test, the first with a cannonball, will find out. Adam decides that visualizing a positive result will help.
It's gonna build up pressure in here. It's gonna come out this barrel. It's gonna This is if you could actually follow it in real time. And sand's gonna pour out of here and we're gonna cackle a lot. That's pretty much what's gonna happen. We are arming the cannon.
Air cannon test fire in 3, 2, 1.
And cue the cackle.
That was cool.
Cool indeed. But do we have the speed we need?
It's 2,000 frames per second. So I'm traveling 1 foot every 4 frames. That's a foot in every 2 milliseconds. That's 500 feet per second. That is 340 miles per hour. That is respectable.
Respectable, and it's as good as it's going to get. So, time to move on. The next step will be to find out how many people a single cannonball can kill directly. That way, when they test with wooden shrapnel damage, they have a comparison.
Now that the cannon's working, the first test is to find out how much damage it would do to humans. So we're going to break out our human analogs, fire the cannon at them.
Human analogs? Can we check the truck again? We've got the side of the boat made to genuine pirate ship dimensions. But did anyone pack a human analog? Explain it again, Adam, please, in simple terms.
We're going to shoot at the boat from about point blank range, so it'll be here. The pigs will be here.
Hold on. Did Adam say pigs?
These are 450-pound pigs. Pigs are used the world over as nearly perfect analogs for humans. They have similar amounts of body fat, similar skeletal structures. While they look quite different, they act very much the same under a lot of conditions, including getting hit with a cannonball.
Rest assured, our scientifically accurate porcine pirates were humanely slaughtered. But instead of being destined for the supermarket, they've been selected for a higher purpose.
Wake up! Time for science! The myth is that more people died from splinters than from actual cannonballs. And if we want to test it as more than just a numerical anomaly, we want to know how many people a single cannonball could kill. So we've lined 4 of them up in front of the barrel, and we're going to see how many sustain what we consider to be a lethal amount of damage from this single shot.
Tackling a tall ship tail from Tinseltown is Cary, Grant, and Tori. They're asking, can you slide down from a topmast by slicing the sail? So far, they've selected their knife, tested its sail shearing abilities through plain canvas, and they know our fall guy can hang onto the blade.
All right, what are we doing?
What we're doing, Tori, is taking this test to the next level by introducing full-length sails with cross seams, known on the high seas as reef bands. On the good ship Balclutha, we found a pirate sail could have as many as 4 of these cross seams, and that could be a problem.
This definitely changes what the knife's gonna do when it goes down the sail. When you hit these reef bands, it could just like throw you out.
So the knife has to be sharp enough to get through these thick seams. But as the guys found out in the earlier tests, too sharp, and the slide down the sail becomes a free fall.
So we're all ready to go. Buster's ready. He's got his hands that are gonna hold the knife at any angle. Hopefully he'll hold on to the knife. We have our sail hanging from the ceiling, and it's at a height that would be roughly to what a pirate ship would be. So that way we could see when he lands on the deck what kind of injuries he's gonna sustain. So all we have to do now is hoist him up to the quick release, stick his knife in the sail, and let him go.
Pride normally goes before a fall, but on MythBusters, Grant jumps in for some mathematical injury calculation.
So I'm marking out our sail in 1-foot increments, and what we're gonna do is use the high-speed camera to film Buster as he rides the knife down. We're counting the number of frames, that'll give us velocity. What we know is 25 feet per second is the threshold of minor injury. So if you're a pirate landing on a deck, you'll probably be able to get up and walk away and fight other pirates. 50 feet per second is the threshold of major injury, which means possibly it'll be fatal.
So because the myth is about our hero being able to walk away, we're looking for a speed below 25 feet per second. Buster's first ride will be with a sharpened blade.
Full scale Buster test 2 reef bands sharp knife in 3, 2, 1.
I don't think that worked very well. What do you think?
I don't think I want to use a sharp knife. Dang, he hit hard.
Look at that. It sliced right through him. It didn't even pause at the reef bands.
Too sharp, too fast, too bad for Buster. And the numbers from the high speed confirm it. At over 25 feet per second, Buster would definitely have been busted up.
So I think we probably ought to think about maybe dulling the knife a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep, the solution is to blunt the blade and try to slow the fall. Call it, Carrie.
Full weight of Buster on the man-gauche blade, which is dull, with the reef bands on the sail.
All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Too dull.
What Carrie's trying to say is Buster's dull knife hit a snag and he fell from grace with a resounding thud. The solution is a knife that's sharp enough to cut the reef bands, yet dull enough to slow our fall guy's fall to a safe speed. But who's going to wield the knife? It's obvious that Buster's a bit of a stiff, and our mythical swashbuckler knows how to absorb a fall, something Buster never picked up at stunt school. So for the best chance of success, we need to inject some humanity into this myth.
Well, let's find a safe way to do this, and then one of us, and by us, I mean you, can go up and try this out.
Twist my arm.
All right.
Tori gets the blade ready for the final human on sail test. Not too sharp, not too dull.
Either way, I'm screwed.
Pirate Speak lesson number 4. A good pirate should start all sentences with the words "thar be," as in "thar be Adam and Jamie," or "thar be Adam and Jamie with a very large cannon," or even better, "thar be Adam and Jamie with a very large cannon pointing straight at 4 pigs dressed as pirates."
Pirate ships were often packed at double, triple, or quadruple the actual capacity of that ship. So it is conceivable that the deck of a pirate ship could be a very crowded place during a battle.
The myth states more pirates died from splintering wood than from a direct hit by a cannonball. Workshop tests with a mini cannon seem to confirm the theory. But in full-scale tests, the MythBusters first want to see just how many people a cannonball could kill. They figured it was more humane to use pigs bound for the supermarket than real pirates.
Next, we're going to fire the air cannon at the pigs, at the pirates, I'm sorry. My guess is that we're going to make it all the way through them because we're going to bump up the pressure a little bit off of the nitrogen tank, and pigs versus sandbags, I'd say the pigs lose. This is how much damage can a cannonball do to some pirates? Firing in 3, 2, 1.
That is so wrong.
Wrong may be, but did any of our pirate substitutes survive the broadside?
He's dead.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, here's your second pig. Well, I can see it over here. He's dead. Your third pig, well, he's dead. Fourth pig, totally dead. Let's set up for the next test. That's stunning. That's 4 for 4. Went through them like butter.
Or lard. killed 4 little pirates and didn't even knock their hats off practically. Well, maybe one of them. That means we're getting this cannonball going really pretty quickly.
So the benchmark for death by a single cannonball is at least 4. It's crunch time for the cannonball splinter myth.
Next, we're going to fire through our mocked-up pirate ship and see whether it's more lethal to get hit by the splinters than a cannonball.
Pirate ships being in short supply, Adam has built his own, slightly modified version.
It doesn't look like it, but I have a fascia that looks like a pirate ship. And then I have here 3 solid inches of white oak. That is accurate to the outside cladding on a period ship that a pirate might have commandeered. Then there's a 6 by 6 inch stanchion. These are the ribs that run all the way down the boat, describing its hull shape. And on the inside, it's clad with pine. These 2 pieces are what this cannonball is going through that will generate the splinters, and they are accurate to the type of materials that a period cannonball would have encountered in a ship during battle.
So for this myth to be true, we're looking for a huge volume of splinters to come out of the backside and spray the whole area, which could kill a lot of people. And it's actually more plausible than a bunch of people lining up in a row right behind a cannonball when it hits.
Air cannon into the pirate ship, in
3, 2, 1.
I hope it made it.
Well, it didn't come bouncing out. Let's go check it out.
All right.
The air cannon once again hits her mark. But what's the damage report?
Whoa! It did! It made it through! Yeah! Excellent! Oh my God. I see a horror show, and I definitely see splinters here.
I don't see any penetration of the pigs at all.
I don't see any of them sticking out of the pigs here.
Plenty of splinters, but unlike the small-scale test, there's no suggestion the shrapnel was lethal.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it drilled a neat hole right through it.
If I was standing right here, I'd count my lucky stars that the cannonball missed me, but I'd be pulling splinters out of my thighs. I mean, that would suck. And sure enough, back then, you know, a big splinter going through your leg could be a lethal injury when you're talking about infection and the microorganisms that are living off the wood of the boat and stuff like that. But this is like 2 people who are slightly injured or seriously injured, not, you know, 10 that a cannonball can travel all the way through.
Yeah, I think the scenario we were looking for was where this is such an explosion that it accelerates these particles of wood so fast that everybody in the area just gets sprayed and dies. Kind of like a shotgun or more like a grenade blast. And I'm not seeing that happen with this stuff. I think the high-speed footage tells the whole story because it's showing a massive quantity of splinters going out of the backside of this boat hull. The problem is that none of it's hitting the pigs with enough strength, enough mass, enough velocity or whatever to actually stick into the pigs.
With no pigs stuck with deadly splinters, this myth is on shaky ground. But Adam and Jamie are reluctant to call it busted. Remember, the air cannon isn't quite up to speed. With a muzzle velocity of around 400 miles per hour, it doesn't match up to the real thing.
We gotta figure out a way of getting things to go really fast.
Unable to accept defeat, the pressure is back on to find a genuine cannon and put this myth to rest. When using a knife to slide down sails, it's not the fall that'll kill you, it's the sudden stop. And Buster sucks at landing. This myth needs a dummy that can act like a person.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do it.
Not it.
Seeing as Tori's the class clown, we're taking this myth to the circus. You know, high trapeze, nets, all that safety stuff. And if you cast your minds back, Carrie, Grant, and Tori have been to trapeze arts before. That time, they wanted to see if a swing can spin a full 360 degrees. Carrie, Tori's about to attempt a life-threatening stunt. Carrie, you're just not taking this seriously, are you? Before this myth turns into a circus, thank you, Carrie, that's quite enough. Tori gets the lowdown on his knife-wielding fall from trapeze trainer Eric Braun.
The net is good to handle someone my size hitting the net from above the frame.
So no matter what, we're gonna be safe.
No matter what, you won't hit the ground.
But not, no. I said no matter what, we're gonna be safe.
The biggest risk of injury is one part of your body hitting another part of your body. The most common instance of that is your knee hitting your nose.
Ooh!
Okay,
Yeah.
it's happened before. My sister broke her nose in like 14 places.
Cool.
You know, with her knees
Let's
hitting
try-
her face in the
yeah,
trampoline.
I'll try to avoid that if I can.
When Buster tried this trick, it looked more damaging than a knee to a nose. And with the sail set to the same Buster-busting height, Tori is banking on his partially sharpened knife to slow his fall and cut through the reef bands.
All right, so what I'm about to do is climb up to the top of the sail. We're gonna do a free fall test without the knife, just to get a control on my speed. I'm a little nervous because I'm not really sure how I'm gonna land. I just don't wanna smash my face into my knees. If I can avoid that, I'll be cool.
This first drop will be a knifeless test run. Then we'll stick the knife in and slide this myth home.
Full-scale Tori test. This one's the control free fall.
3, 2, 1.
That was great.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
How much of that was free fall and how much of that was you stopping him?
Well, it felt like a lot of it was free fall.
Totally good form. You were right next to the sail the whole time. You had your pretend knife in it, and I mean, it couldn't have been any better.
At falling down, Tori's done good. But would he have survived the fall to fight another day?
Actually, it's not bad. I mean, he is just falling straight down. He's not freaking out or anything.
That's really good form. Now, here's...
Pirates don't freak out.
Well, you might. Pirates don't.
Right.
Okay, here's the good news. The good news is that your velocity at the very end is 25 feet per second. It's a little bit slower than, you know, physics predicts, but I think it's still...
It's really close to a free fall.
And yeah, and what that means is if the net weren't there, you would be breaking both legs and in very bad shape.
Well, good thing for the net.
So, free fall equals broken legs. The question is, will thrusting a knife into the sail slow down Pirate Tori enough to prove this myth?
My biggest concern now is holding onto the knife. Could a pirate hold onto the knife, cutting through the sail, hitting those reef bands, and not letting go? That's what I need to concentrate on right now.
Tori, yeah. You want to put the safety on?
Oh. Sure.
Okay. Okay, here you go, Tori.
Safely secured, Tori takes to the rigging. His knife of choice, the not too dull, not too sharp Mangoche.
Full-scale pirate sail test. Tori, free fall with the knife, sharp.
Okay, call it when you're ready.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Whoa! Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, that was crazy. As soon as I hit that reef band, the knife just popped right out.
So the reef bands threw him off. But if the knife was any sharper, he'd have fallen too fast to walk away uninjured. But Tori ain't given up yet.
What I'd like to do is try it one more time. Just move over a little bit on the sail, now that I know what it feels like, and just see if I can keep that angle, because the first few feet of fall, it felt like I was being slowed down by the knife.
So tenacious Tori gets one final attempt.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Dang it.
But the result was exactly the same. It seems that a knife dull enough to get you down at a safe speed won't slice through the reef bands.
So you hung on to the knife, but it was just that force that
That just popped me out. So it wasn't like it popped the knife out of my hand. It just pushed the knife up, and then I fell out of the sail.
Well, that's a huge difference between you and Buster, is the fact that he had the death grip and everything was tightened and there was no way his wrist was going to go back. That is a normal human reaction.
So Tori, ready to call this one?
Cutting a knife through the sail, it's way too hard. I mean, as soon as I hit that reef band, the angle of my knife changed and my knife popped out, I fell.
We had a full live person doing this with a sharp knife in a life-size sail with reef bands. You couldn't really get more realistic than that.
I'm a little disappointed.
I know.
I just don't think the human wrist is strong enough to hold that angle.
Plus, in a historically accurate sail, you'd have to get to not one, but 2 reef bands. And each of those has a variation of sail material of 1 to 3 layers, to 2 layers, back to 3, and then to 1.
Well, and not only that, I mean, in a real-life situation, you're gonna have to have your knife just sharp enough to make it through the reef bands, but just dull enough to decelerate you. I mean, when is that really gonna happen?
Only in the movies.
I think this one's busted.
I think this one's triple busted.
Busted.
It's a maritime myth of explosive proportions. Supposedly, when the broadsides strike, more shipmates die from the flying splinters than the cannonballs themselves. Tests with the giant air cannon suggest it's a bust. But without an accurate muzzle velocity, our dynamic duo are reluctant to call it.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at this shrapnel. I'm really pleased with our rig. I think we can call this one busted.
I don't know. I mean, a real cannon will fire a cannonball at twice the velocity of what we got our air cannon to do, and that translates to maybe about 10 times the actual power.
Right, but it did go through all the wood we had set up, plus our pegs. It did everything that we wanted it to do.
Well, I have actually got access to a real cannon that fires a real cannonball. You want to go for it?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Let's take all this back to the site and try it again.
Actually, Adam, we're playing with real guns this time, and there's only one place they let us do that. The Alameda County Sheriff's Facility Bomb Range. And joining us to save the day is not-so-dirty Harry and his big gun.
This is Old Moses.
Is that the trailer or the gun?
The gun. He speaks with a great voice and lays down the law.
Oh, my Lord.
Wow!
It's a fully functional 1841 Mexican and Civil War replica. Not exactly pirate material, but a cannon's a cannon, right?
This is one of those cases where I'm sure the results are going to be controversial, but no one can accuse us of not being thorough. And if there are any pirates out there who dispute this, I'd love to talk to them.
The cannon that we're about to use is a piece of what is known as field artillery. Now, this is the kind of thing that would go out on the open battlefield in the Civil War and that kind of thing. We're talking about pirate cannons, but it's the same. The ball size is the same. It's the same as what we used in the air cannon. It's a proper size that you would actually find on a pirate ship. So the effect on impact is the same.
This first shot into the water barrels for safety will give the team the muzzle velocity. And if Old Moses hits 1,300 feet per second, we know we're dealing with the real thing.
All right, let's see if this is big enough to hold a pound and a quarter.
Harry will use a 1.25 pounds of black powder to launch a 6-pound shot.
Okay. Not too hard. Okay, action front, time to load. Charge.
In the heat of battle, a crack cannon team match speed and efficiency with precision. The correctly sized cannonballs help too.
What's going on? It's too big.
No.
Huh? These are fresh ordered shot just for this gun, and they're cast too large, or the.
Well, we have one of our little unexpected problems, something we could have never foreseen or put on a list, and it's that our cannonballs are too big for the barrel of our cannon.
What I'm using right now is an ancient pirate tool, the angle grinder.
The ball is ground down by 1/8 of an inch.
Well, that's not a pirate thing, that's a tumbleweed. On you go.
Wild West distractions dealt with, the team load up, and Old Moses is ready for action.
Clear front.
Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Old Moses certainly didn't hold back. A successful firing, but where's the cannonball?
It's not there?
It's
Did it skip?
If it skipped, it went over the hill.
That's one cannonball missing in action, and there's something else missing.
We were completely unable to determine the muzzle velocity on that test because, for some reason, at the moment of detonation, our high-speed camera's power supply failed. So we got a new power supply, and we're gonna do the same shot again. We have to know what the muzzle velocity is. We want to be able to compare it to the previous test.
A little ricochet reinforcement, and it's time for shot number 2.
Prime. Clear front. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
I think
We got that cannonball.
we stopped the cannonball. It's like,
Nice shot.
No bouncing balls this time. The hill took the full force.
It's deeper than that. So, what we got there is a muzzle velocity of 1,430 feet per second, guaranteed, because I can see when the cannonball exits the barrel, and I can see when it hits the garbage can, and I know the garbage can is exactly 10 feet from the barrel. That muzzle velocity makes this blast 7.5 times more powerful than the one we produced with our air cannon. The only question that remains for us is, does that increase in power translate to an increase in deadliness for our wooden shrapnel?
Mini air cannons and maxi air cannons have drawn a blank on scattered splinters, but old Moses has the mustard to truly lay down the law for this myth. Adam's authentic pirate ship prototype is lowered into place. Cue the pigs.
this is our pirate crew, and for this myth to be true, they have to have a bunch of splinters stuck in them really quite deep.
Get your pirate face on! We're about to shoot some cannons! I'm drooling!
Drooling? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Looks from here like it put a clean hole in the oak.
It definitely put a clean hole in the oak.
A nice small one.
Getting through the wood is not the issue. It's the deadly splinters we want.
What do we see?
I see even less kind of splinterage than I saw before. I mean, the splinters are clearly all over the place, but I don't see hardly a single one stuck in the pigs. Oh, there's one. Wait a second. Uh-oh. Well, that went in about 1/2 inch, and that's the most serious thing that we've seen all told, but it's still not lethal.
The increased muzzle velocity definitely had a lot more power behind it. It pushed this whole thing over. It caused a lot more trauma to our pirate boat than it did on the test with our air cannon.
Old Moses here had considerably more kick than our air cannon, and it threw a lot of splinters all over the place, but the result is the same. From what I'm seeing, they just don't have a whole lot of mass. They just kind of like flip off things, they bounce, they don't really penetrate. Based on this, the only thing that we can say about this myth is that it's busted. The shrapnel is not as lethal as the cannonball.
Well, let's give our pirates a good final resting place and call this one busted.
Can you stop doing that?
Now I can, because we're done.
Maybe we need to try a bigger cannon. What do you think?